Thank you for calling credit card claims. This call may be recorded. Please hold while your call is being transferred. We apologize for the delay. Your call is important to us. We are experiencing higher than normal wait times. Please continue to hold, and an associate will be with you as soon as possible.
Hello my friends and viewers, my name is Patrick, and today's video is about the last job that I was holding. I'd worked for approximately 7 months for a third-party vendor that does phone support, customer service for Bank of America. Now that company's name is called Advanced Call Center Technology, and well, I'm not going to give any other information about that place other than we took calls mostly for Bank of America. Did take calls for other companies, but the division that I worked in, it was solely Bank of America. Now the reason for my video here is there's two parts to this. For one, I was fired for hanging up on somebody because they were using Jesus' name as a cuss word, and I was more than pleased to tell the woman that was the operations manager, I'm not putting up with that. I don't care how much you cuss me, but if you're going to cuss me with Jesus' name, then click. I'm not putting up with it. There's a person that wants to act that belligerent, they don't want to be helped. They just want to be a nuisance. But all that aside, like I said, I no longer work there, so now I can go ahead and tell you all where I was working. I worked for Bank of America in the credit card department, not collections, but when you have a charge on your credit card and you needed to file a dispute, or better known as a chargeback, then I was one of the jerks that you talked to on the phone. This place is so hard and ridiculous to work for that, well, there was like 27 people in my training class, and only about 10, I think it was, made it to the actual call floor, and by the time that I was gone, there was only 3 more remaining. The place is a revolving door. Now, let's go ahead and take a look here at Craigslist. So here we are at Craigslist, and let's go over here to jobs. Look up ACT. And there we clicked on a advanced call center technology ad. And they're rapidly growing in the Tri-Cities. They're one of the largest employers in the region and add an additional 200 positions in the next 6 months. It's going to be hard to add those positions if they don't get the current ones that they have already filled. Now, the problem with what they hire is this. I did mention that they did employ 2 felons to my knowledge. But the other type of people that they hire, they don't actually require drug screening. Now, you sign a paper saying that you submit to one, but that's only in the event that you have an accident or you fall out of your seat, and then the managers have to. Well, that's because that's the type of people that work there. They're mostly pillheads and drunks. And you really don't want these type of people messing with your account information. And also, what they pay, it's $8 an hour. And if you work overtime, you get better pay, which that's why they only pay you $8 an hour, because they want to work your hide off. Typically, what I was working was anywhere between 55 and 59 hours a week, which would get me about $980 or so. Now, the sad part of that is that's actually what most call floor supervisors make, is around that figure. I talked to several, and come to find out they don't make squat. I'm not going to bash on the people that I worked with and all that. Some supervisors are easier to get along with than others, as is anywhere. And if you're going to get a job there at ACT, I would strongly advise you to make sure and stay out of office politics, because you will get singled out and harassed nonstop. And for the women that go there, you better get ready to be hounded by most of the guys that are there, because that place is nothing but drama-filled whoredom. Another thing I found out from working there, from my actual supervisor, told me that if you have the parking pass for ACT in the window of your car and you're pulled over by the police department, that's an automatic search because that place is so well known for druggies that if you put that on your card, they know to go ahead and look and make sure that you don't have any, or that you do. Another thing that I find particularly heinous that that place does that I couldn't agree with, period, is that when somebody says that they didn't use their credit card somewhere and it was actually swapped, say at Walmart, the back office department told me that if they actually get a signature, and it don't matter if it's just some little squiggly mark or if it's actually the way that the cardholder makes their signature, that they actually believe that to be a signature, and they no longer mess with the dispute after that. That the cardholder has to jump through all kinds of hoops to get them to actually look and verify that the signature did not belong to the cardholder. I've heard from multiple back office agents that were friends of mine that told me more than 3/4 of the disputes that we filed were always turned back to the customer, that the claim was denied. It's awful some of the money that people had to pay out because of the policies and the way that Bank of America decided that they're going to run their business. And this is why I felt the need to make videos to educate the cardholder that, look, the banks are taking advantage of you. And they also instruct the call center agents not to fully explain policies and things to you, just to hurry up and shy you off the phone. For instance, there's the Card Act of 2010, which requires the cardholder to contact the merchant before they can contact the bank for a resolution. The bank says, don't explain that stuff to them. Just tell them to call the merchant. The bank's attitude towards its customers is this: we will only tell them exactly and precisely what the law requires us to tell them. Everything else they're going to have to educate themselves on. So here you go. I'm going to help educate you, the cardholder, as to how the bank is trying to bend you over and pull a fast one on you so they can provide you with minimal support and get those charges to stick. So, you know, those of you that do carry a balance on your credit card is going to have to incur some interest charges. And one other thing I want to squash, I've gotten so sick of hearing cardholders tell me how they're such a great cardholder and a customer because they always pay their credit card off in full. No, the bank doesn't care anything about you, and it doesn't matter if your credit limit's $150,000. It really doesn't matter to the bank. If you're paying no interest, they're not making anything off you, and the bank views you as a moocher. So, because all they care about is the depositing accounts. Now, if you have a large bank account with them, now that negates what I just said. But as far as on the credit card line goes, if you're not paying any interest, then you're not paying anything. That's right. So the people that do pay a lot of interest because they carry a balance, now, that's the people that actually pays and feeds the bank. And somebody like me, when I was on the phone, I was way more apt to help a person that was having to pay all that usury than somebody that threw it in my face, I'm paying my bills on time. And let me go ahead and clue you in on something else. Bank of America is a big-time liar. And if you have a Fidelity Investments credit card, it's serviced and backed by Bank of America, and as well as Merrill Lynch. And I bet that will make people very angry to find out that people like me and my Bank of America call center was actually servicing their Merrill Lynch accounts. Now, recently, I guess about 2 months or so ago, Merrill Lynch got their own call center. It was called GWIM, and we had to transfer Merrill Lynch customers to there, which was awesome with me because we had to actually bend over for Merrill Lynch customers and do anything to satisfy those people, even if it included being dishonest with them and filing frivolous credit card claims that we knew was going to be rejected by the back office, and they were going to get a letter saying how we couldn't help them. So, just because your credit card says American Express or somebody else's name on it, there's a thing called transparency, and banks aren't always transparent. It depends on what the contract is with the customers they have that provide your credit card. And sometimes it's against the bank's policy to tell you who we really are. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's right. Bank of America's employees have to actually lie to the cardholder. If you had a Merrill Lynch account and called us up, I could not say Bank of America or be immediately terminated for not lying. Yeah, that's right. Bank of America will fire you if you don't lie. And finally, the other thing, A lot of people get mad at the agent when they call Bank of America to try and get something resolved, and they get mad because the agent's clueless on how to deal with it or is unable to help them. Well, I've got the simple answer to that. Don't blame the person on the phone. 95% of the time, it's not even their fault. It's the horrible training that they received, because at advanced call center technologies, there's such a hurry that they need more agents on the floor that you get a whopping 2 weeks of training before you hit the floor. And if you're somebody like me who has pretty much had no call center experience, that's not a smart idea. They throw people out there on the floor with no idea what to say. Now, they do provide scripting for circumstances, but they don't provide you with enough scripting to understand how you need to actually speak to the customer. But they expect you to wing that, and they say, well, after the 2 weeks that you hit the training floor, you're in something called nesting, where you're supposed to have help, and you're supposed to have somebody even sitting with you and listening to your phone calls part of the time. Well, I never got any side-by-side assistance, and depending on which day you were talking about, sitting there with your hand up with the customer on hold for an excess of 5 and sometimes even 10 minutes to get somebody to walk over there and tell you how you're supposed to do your job when you shouldn't have been told this kind of stuff in training. It's beyond ridiculous. I mean, I'm not even going to go there, because that was a real big headache, and it wasn't fair to the customer on the line. And it's also not fair to the experienced agent who gets the call from the trainee that did not do his job right or told the customer something completely wrong, like we could help him in a situation where we couldn't. And what I always try to do to the person is, instead of just filing a frivolous dispute and treating them like a child and just telling them it'll be okay, we'll get this resolved for you. I was upfront and honest with them, because I had the variables from our back office department that handled the cases. And I would go ahead and tell the person what the back office department was going to do, that we wouldn't be able to dispute the claim. And I always had to deal with a lot of headaches, because I wanted to treat people like an adult, not like a child. So anyway, that's about enough for this video. I just wanted to clue you Bank of America credit card holders, as well as other credit card holders like Merrill Lynch and Fidelity Investments and Prudential and Melaleuca, loads of other names. Some of you didn't realize this, but Bank of America actually owns your account. Now, this doesn't go for all of them, of course, and I didn't work in the business card division, but in the consumer credit cards, we serviced Merrill Lynch, Fidelity, and Prudential, Visa, MasterCard, and American Express cards. So anyway, I appreciate you for watching my video, and if you're on the consumer end of this and you have one of these credit cards, I'm not telling you what to do with your account. I'm telling you, when you call one of these agents, you better be very careful about how you deal with them, because, well, your attitude's actually going to matter. And, I mean, it's not just me that was always getting these hateful calls. Everybody did constantly. And, I mean, I understand Bank of America will turn you into a hateful person having to deal with their products and the lack of service that you can receive. And I'll make other videos about my experiences working at that place, and as far as what the consumer can do to protect themselves from both the bank and the merchant. But anyway, thank you so much for watching my video, and always praise the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
We appreciate your patience.